everybody. Welcome back to our Black History Month series, which we are teaming up with Level 1 Gaming. I am with my wonderful co-host, Matt.
Hey.
And today we have the amazing, energetic, happy, great smile. Looking at you over there, Baron. What's up?
These are all not veneers, but you know what, dude, I'm just so happy to be here, man. I love Burnout Brighter podcast. I love Burnout. I love D. I love Matt. Darren, I haven't sat down with you, but I love you too, man.
You okay, man? You okay?
But no, like it's. I'm so happy to be here, and it's so funny because Black History Month. Like I'm getting too deep. Let's do it.
No. Get deep. Go, please.
Okay. So Black History Month for me was always something like it was like key events, right?
Right.
We have the Black History Parade in my town, my city, and it was like the one time of the year where you just see all the Black folks in the community. Like back in the day when I was a kid, it used to be one of the biggest events in like Southern California. Like people from all over every city would come in, and you would have there's crazy step teams from LA would come all the way down. Well, all the way, it's like an hour and a half away, but would come like, and you would have drill teams, step teams, bands, floats, car competitions, rappers and stuff would come out. And it's so cool. Now what's sad is it's gotten a lot smaller, and I think you know, I don't want to sound like an old man and blame the internet, but I think you just have a lot of people venturing out. You know, you got the big exodus of California, you know, the mass migration of Black folks to Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Vegas. Like that, if you guys didn't know, that's a very real thing. Like,
California is expensive, so people are moving out of state.
Yeah, it's especially younger families. So people my age, people who grew up going to the Black History Parade, it's not as many of them. You go and you just see all the people who are older getting older, and like, you know, it's they're trying to bring it back, but it's nowhere what it used to be, right? But what's dope is they got like Tommy the Clown, the whole crump scene, dance groups, and they got it really, so they're really working hard, and it's, you know, and they're trying to bring it back, but it's just not as big as it used to be. But so Black History Month for me growing up was always centered around that, and being able to go to a few different events around a bunch of people who look like me. Grew up in a majority Hispanic community. I mean, even now I'm the only black. Well, yeah, I'm the only black guy on the street. And so to be able to get to a moment where we're all together and it's just almost everybody in the neighborhood, you know, of course, being in a like smaller town with not that many Black folks, you usually related to everybody. So you see cousins, you see distant, like, oh, that's your cousin. Oh, that so-and-so over there, that's your cousin's niece. And I'm like, I don't remember them. Hey, what's going on, little Baron? And because I'm not a junior, but I'm a junior. And I'm not little, but, you know.
I get it.
Yeah, right? And so it's always, hey, little B. And I'm 30, man. But all right, let's go with
it. Graduated, got kids now, married.
Yeah, I have children. Like, I have 2. Oh, little Baron, I remember when you was this big. That's, you know, and I'm like, that's cool. And I'm grateful, but sir, I don't know who you are. Okay. Have y'all experienced that?
Yes, like, absolutely.
Okay. It's the most awkward. I feel wrong. I feel so wrong to have somebody walk up and have such fond memories of me, and I'd not have a clue who they are. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like it hurts me in the weirdest way. Like, I feel so bad because they speak so fun. Oh man, I remember you used to be running around and da-da-da. And I'm like, ma'am, sir, person, I have no clue who you are.
I had a person come up to me at the gas station like that once, and I straight up looked at them. I'm like, I don't know who you are. And the look of hurt on his face will forever be burned in my memory. But anyways,
So I got one more story, and I'm gonna leave this alone. So I'm standing next to my cousin who grew up with me like a brother, and I mean we shared the same room. Fought over, back in the days when you try to block the cable box because the sensor.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's pictures of him
tape the
like
remote.
Oh yeah. Oh, took my Sega controller and like hide it under the console because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
All that, right? Well, we're standing in a grocery store and we're standing next to each other, and a lady walks up behind us and she was like, "The fat one is Baron and the tall one is Anthony." And we turned around and she was like, "I'll never forget you guys." And I was like, "Lady, I don't know who you are, but clearly you know us." like she just called us like
Way
she
to
just
say something like that. Like I think I would have been slightly offended. Like, wait, what?
you know what? I'll say this. Being a fat kid all my life, I had to fight a lot and talk a lot of crap. So it kind of like it only jabs I get now are like from my kids. They're like, my youngest, she's ruthless. "Dad, your belly is so big," and I'm like, thanks, baby, I love you. And I think it's because I got that like I don't want to roast him back. I'm like, hey man, we ain't gonna, but I'll call him big head in a minute. I'm like, that's why your forehead big. Like, but no, but Black History Month, Black History Month. Man, I just wish companies would celebrate us a little more often.
I do too.
Like,
I just saw a meme that was like William Dafoe, and it was it was so funny. Did you see it? And he was like, "Yeah, actually, I'm a little bit African American," and I was like, "Stop! Who did that?" It's so great. It's so good.
The coldest thing I seen, right, was what's going on with Bath and Body Works.
Oh my god! Yes.
So if you didn't know, so I'm thinking they came out with like a cocoa butter line, right?
Nope.
I'm thinking they came out with a shea oils and things
that Black people are known to use.
Yeah, black soap. I'm thinking they got a whole new line. Okay. They literally slapped like kente cloth and different African designs onto their normal products.
Yep.
And put it out front.
And put it out front. It was like
Black
happy, yeah.
I'm thinking.
I bet you any money a white person designed that and ran with it. $100.
It was either a white person or like they asked a Black person and they designed it not knowing that it was just going to be slapped onto products that they already had.
Yeah.
Like, what was that one model who did that commercial, the laundry detergent? This was years ago, and I don't know if it was an Asian commercial, but the Black guy got washed.
Oh,
and
then he didn't know. And he was white.
And he was white.
And they were talking about how clothes were dirty. Yeah, that was.
And he didn't know
that's what was happening. Yeah.
And it just
they be doing us dirty, and that was a Chinese fucking commercial. I
believe. Did you see that one that was going around online? I think it was like a week ago. The old Thai commercial. Did you see that one where they were advertising black toothpaste? It's like they have this black guy walk up, and this kid is like this little Thai kid is like looking up, and he's sad. So this guy like climbs up and like gets a balloon for him and like brings the balloon and he's trying to give him the balloon, and the mom's like, no, don't talk to him, and he like runs away, and then he goes back home and he lets go of this balloon, and he has like the ceiling like full of balloons, right? So he's like trying to help people, and then he's like lies down on the bed and all of a sudden morphs into toothpaste. And I think like the moral of the story was, just because it's black doesn't mean it's bad for you. I was sitting there watching, I was like,
what country was that from?
Thailand. It was a Thai commercial. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send it to you guys after. So
it's so bad. The way that they like. I don't want this to be like a bashing kind of thing, because we're here to celebrate like Black excellence. But like you just get tired of seeing that kind of stuff and having to deal with it as like African American or as just an African or just as a person of color. You get tired of that like old fucking idealism that like having dark skin means you're poor, or having dark skin means you're uneducated and like aggressive, like it's old, it's tired, and it's played out because every race gets old. Every race has experienced poverty. Every race has become aggressive at some point. We've all fought wars. We've all like gotten arguments and fights. It's not just predominantly people of color and Black people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know we're supposed to be talking about the positive, but reference points. Shout out to Tyler the Creator. He brought up an amazing point. He was like, I understand when a old hip hop head calls my music crap and crazy. It should be to them because the reference point is not there. They didn't grow up with me, around me, near me. They have no reference to why my sound is the way it is. And their reference points is, well, this is hip hop, this is music, right?
Right.
So I used to debate a lot with people on Facebook, like a lot of Caucasian people. I used to debate and go back and forth and try to prove my humanity and try to explain that, you know, when you look at numbers, it's of course skewed, and I can make ice cream bad. Well, the increase of ice cream is linked
sugar
to
content.
crime. No, it's linked to crime. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, yeah, because more crime is committed in hotter months, and that's when ice cream is sold more. Like, if you put
okay.
or
if you look for it, you can find it.
Yeah. Or if I put a spotlight on a specific area long enough, I'm gonna see something. So predatory policing. You know, we can go through all of that. Well, what do you mean predatory policing? I'm like, well, bro, if you just sit a cop in one area all day, of course he's gonna catch somebody doing something criminal. My mother lives in a predominantly Caucasian white neighborhood, upscale neighborhood. My mother and father, I don't see any cops. But funny enough, all the cops live there.
Yeah.
I don't see any police vehicles. I remember my first time when when we moved in. I was so culture shocked because one, how quiet it was. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood up to that point, and it was always not the richest neighborhood, but not dirt poor. But it was just people working on cars, garages open, music going, or a party every weekend. Like, that's kind of what I just always grew up hearing. So to be in a neighborhood where it is quiet, I fell asleep on the curb outside. I was just so like, nobody bothered me. I didn't see anybody walking around. That was not the norm for me, right? But what tripped me out the most was I didn't see any police at all. I'm like, so it's just there's no crime here? Is that what you're trying to tell me? There's not anything here. It's just perfect. This is Pleasantville. So there's nothing going on here. No, it's just, you know, you're not driving around looking for it all day. But
yeah.
I know we're here talking about positive. I'm so sorry.
I mean, like, no, we should be talking about it all because, I mean, all of it is an issue, and Black communities are over policed.
Oh yeah,
right.
100%.
And the things that like, even Latino communities and just those communities tend to get in trouble for things that like your white counterparts would get a slap on the wrist for. So it also seems like, you know, and then you get into redlining and these communities that like don't have the same amount of resources. So like if you grow up and you can't get a job and you can't get you know, the education that you need to get a better job, which is really terrible now because you have all these people going for these fucking predatory schools and like they're thousands and thousands of dollars in debt and still can't get a job to pay off that debt. The struggle is real out there, especially in poorer neighborhoods. And so you end up doing things to survive. You end up selling drugs. You end up stealing. You end up, because nobody, like I've said before, nobody comes into this world wanting to fail. Nobody comes into this world wanting to starve. Do you know what I'm saying? So you do what you have to do. And if it's a criminal act, and it's not just in Black communities, like this has happened
across the board.
Across the board. It's happened for years. If you're poor, you're going to steal food. If you're not making money to provide for your family, you're going to do whatever it takes.
I would just let y'all know now. I'm not going to sit here and look at my family be hungry.
Right.
Like, I don't have, like, I can't imagine myself waking up in the morning looking at my kids starving. Like,
Right.
and
And most people can't. Most
yeah.
people can't, and they'll do whatever they need to do, whether that's hustle, sell drugs, whether that's like join a gang, regardless of what it is they're trying to provide. And then when you go out there and punish them for trying to provide because you set up a government that doesn't want to sustain them and their livelihood, then what do you expect? Then you hear this bullshit on the news: Black people are violent,
Oh gosh.
and not even to mention like the idea that like um, they actually like the pipeline, the pipeline from
Oh
schools
yeah.
to the prisons.
Oh
And
yeah.
actually Martin Luther King, after he got out of prison, because I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but he was in prison a couple of times. Well, he went to jail a couple of times, and he found out that they were actually making money off of Black people being put in prison. And so you guys can even look this up. I can't remember the exact name of it, but uh, he asked the Black community, he wanted them to go to prison, right? So that they couldn't make money off of it. And I'm not explaining it perfectly well, but the adults in the Black community were like, no, we're not doing that. So it was actually the children
Oh yeah.
from
Those
elementary
people.
school to high school who actually ended up going to prison to show, well, and to jail to basically make a stand. So if you see those pictures, and I think it was the Birmingham something, I can't remember, of where it's the police with the dogs and the hose, those were
Yeah, those are all
kids.
kids. Yeah, honestly, because he figured it, him and his team figured it out. Piggybacking off of what you're saying, they figured out that you have to. Okay, let's bring it modern, right? It
Sorry,
was
it's the Birmingham campaign. Destiny, you were right. I just
Thank
looked it up.
you.
yes,
I just wanted to
yes,
make sure. Okay.
and let's bring it modern. We are a very small demographic on the grand scheme of things in this country.
Absolutely.
So being such a small demographic, even if we all extremely voted one way, it wouldn't tilt the table.
You wouldn't.
We have to get the support of the others, Caucasian,
Yes.
Asian, across the board.
Yes.
So in saying that and knowing that, I forgot which rapper it was, and it's killing me because I could see his face. But none of our like n- Martin Luther King knew what he was doing because he needed to get white folks to feel for us.
Yes.
Because without that feel, without that humanization, without that, wow, those are people. Without the camera, if oh my gosh, if there was no cameras, if those pictures didn't get taken, if those newsreels didn't happen, who knows how long it would have kept going
Oh,
at
there's
that
so
level.
much stuff that
Oh
kept
yeah.
going that we don't know about. Do
Oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like shit that I'm
Yeah, yeah.
still finding out about. Like finding out that there's still like sundown towns in certain
Oh
southern
yeah.
states. And if
Oh,
you don't know what a
100%.
sundown town is, it's basically where like if you're a person of color, you need to be out of that fucking town by
What old boys to
sundown
come out. That's real.
or you're dead. Something's happening to you, right? And so like absolutely to agree with you. I think I was really upset, and I don't know if like this is the rapper you were talking about. It was a couple of rappers who came out during that time when Trump was running against Biden and all of that shit was going on. I know Ice Cube was saying some shit where he was just like,
Oh yeah, that was
don't vote, and I was like, oh. And then LL Cool J came out and said some stuff, and I was like that's the wrong team to be on. You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to unite. We're not trying to like continuously divide Black people. And you have so many people who look up to you. Telling them not to vote is not the way to go.
oh
But
man.
I said it
And you
like 1,000 times. Like we need white people to speak up. Like for
oh
example,
yeah.
we had Chef Mike on, and he was
Mhm.
like, "Well, I don't feel comfortable saying it from my point of view." Like, I was like, "No, absolutely say it from your point of view because like." You're the person that people are listening to. A
They're listening to
majority of
you.
white people listen to other white people
They
because
think we're
Black people,
whining.
yeah,
They think we're whining. Honestly, and
absolutely.
it's wild how they. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No,
It's so wild. Like what the phrase I used earlier. I was like, I'm sitting here trying to defend my humanity,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it's so because people like to throw statistics when rightfully so. You want to back up what you're saying. But when your statistics are when you're ignoring the reference point to your statistics, like, oh, well, Black people, they're one of the smaller populations out there, but they commit the most crime. And it's like, well, okay, so let's dive a little deeper. Let's take one more step.
yeah,
Is it that there's just more law enforcement looking at Black people and then more crimes are being caught, because I promise you, there's probably a lot more people, other different ethnicities, with drugs in their car that you could pull over and look. And like, how often are you pulling over the young white guy in the whatever car versus the black guy in the whatever car? Like, in that, stop and frisk, just the different interactions, and it's crazy. I'm so sorry, because I know we didn't come here to talk about.
No,
like, seriously,
these are things that need to be discussed. Please don't apologize. Like, we need to talk about them, and if this is what this episode's going to be about, like, just feel free. Like,
well, no, because what I want to talk about is the whimsical, the future, what's that one meme? It was a guy like, oh, if you can go back in any time period, where would you go? And it's like, I'm like,
yesterday,
forward.
Yes, not trying to go back in time.
Like,
thanks.
I had a good pizza last Thursday. Maybe then.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Okay, so for me, right? Because I remember, I don't know if you guys, I remember you guys were like, hey, who stands out to you? Like that, and for Black history and who's important to me, right? Of course, you got your Rosa Parks, you got Thurgood Marshall. We can go down the, you got a whole host of people that helped us get to this point. And I always butcher her first name, and I have no idea why, because it's not that hard. Dr. Sian Proctor. Sian Proctor. She was on the Inspiration 4 mission. For those who don't know, the Inspiration 4 mission was the SpaceX program's all civilian, a full civilian manned space mission, where they were going to be in space for, I forgot how many days. Well, the mission pilot is a 51-year-old black woman. Like, that's who the mission pilot, the first civilian black woman, or honestly the first civilian space pilot, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't think any other, I
don't
could
think
be completely
we've had
wrong.
Another space pilot that was a civilian.
I think they've all been military or NASA or cosmonauts, or their respect. I don't think it's just been. Now, I don't want to diminish her, because even outside of going to space, right, she's a doctor, she's a Afrofuturist artist, she's taught at colleges everywhere, like all of these things before even that. But the thing that makes it so special, what makes her so special to me, and why it's so important, and I don't think we'll truly value her until maybe 100 years from now. The future looks bright in that sense, in space travel, if we continue at this pace, excluding something catastrophic happening. A 51-year-old black woman piloted a spacecraft for more than a day. I don't know, I forgot the exact time. But how, like, a 51-year-old black woman, civilian, piloted, she wears, she has corrective vision. She's 51. Now, I'm not saying that's old. I'm not saying that's old at all. But that is not an age I imagine my space. Is not what I envision. So to know, like, think about what that means for us, the three of us right here. What does that mean? That literally, when you hear the sky's the limit, but like, first it was like, oh, we got a mixed president. Nobody ever said that, but he was mixed president. But that was, that was like a big moment, right? And then you get, we got Kamala Harris, a woman vice president. There's so many, but that's really centralized. That's for us as Americans, or U.S. citizens. That's for us. Right. But you have a 51-year-old woman who looks like one of my aunts mission pilot of a damn spacecraft. I'm a nerd, right? I've always like I wish it's funny because my first thought when the topic came up of what we were supposed to be talking about today, like, and I feel like I've like completely railroaded the show, and I'm so sorry.
No, you haven't.
God, no, don't be sorry.
Well, I'm a sucker for art, right? Like I wish I could unblur my background without completely shutting down everything, but I feel like something would go wrong, and then it would be like, oh, give me 15 minutes, I'll be back. But I'm a sucker for art, so much so that I stopped going to conferences because my whole purpose was to go to Artist Alley. And for those who've been to cons, you know, Artist Alley that's where I go. GDB Art or Geneva B Art.
Yeah, I know. I follow her. She has such a beautiful style. Yeah,
I love seeing Black people in whimsical worlds. I love seeing Black people. One of my most popular tweets outside of the one that was retweeted by Uberfax was I want to see Black people with locks and twist riding dragons. Like that's what I want. Like shout out to my mom. She loves drama. She loves drama movies. She, you know, she just loves them. I mean, whether it's drama TV, messy television, she loves it. I'm over it. I want to see whimsical Black people.
Right.
What was it? Something in Bones. It was on Netflix.
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone. Oh boy with the pistols. Seeing people of color with magic. I like that stuff. Give me that. It's shout out to
I think The Witcher's been doing really well with bringing in people of color.
Yeah, seeing her. Old girl with the hair. Her hair was whipped up, and she walking around with the big neck thing, running everything, doing like I like that. I need that. And then even shout out to Black Sand Entertainment. Like, and I got, you know, saying their name like that. I am invested with them, and it's funny, I invested with them a while back. Wasn't much, but I threw some money at it because I was like, dude, this is dope. And I love seeing that, and I want to see so much more. So wrapping it back up to Dr. Proctor, because I can go for weeks on this stuff. What does that say for us, a 51-year-old Black woman who looks like one of my aunties? Like, I've definitely seen her at a barbecue somewhere. And to see her pilot one of the richest companies on Earth's spaceship, mission pilot, as a civilian.
That's Black excellence.
That is such a milestone in humanity. Like, only thing stopping me from going to space and piloting my own is money right now. That's like, and shout out to Dr. Proctor, because that, funny enough, that's actually one of her program missions. One of her mission statements is Jedi space, and I believe it's just I'm butchering. Here we go. Okay. Just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive space for advanced human space flight. Like, that's her mission statement. And it's such a, like, that resonates so much to me because, like, the trauma is already here. The struggle is already here, right? I'm not saying I want to go full escapism, but my wife already banned me from Full Dive Technology because she knows. My biggest mistake was watching Sword Art Online with her. Because she knows that the moment a beta test goes out for Full Dive Technology, I'm signing up.
I'll be there with you.
I love my fam. I love my fam. I have 2 beautiful daughters. I got a whole family who love me. My mom, my dad, our brother, sister. Like, I got people who love me, and I love them. But the idea of going into a world that is just so
different from the one that we live in,
bro. I can't. I'm hooked on audiobooks. Like, I listen, you know, Theater of the Mind. I was listening to one earlier, and it's a lit RPG audiobook experience, and I'm just, it's crazy because I'm grounded here in reality. I know what's going on around me. I understand what's real, but that idea of like just almost a complete refresh and being able to make a world for yourself or experience a world that was made to be so different, and it just feels so much more tangible in a reality sense now that a 51-year-old Black woman was mission pilot of a spaceship.
Yep.
That went successfully to space and they came home. It wasn't a tragedy. It wasn't a, she didn't become a martyr for humanity in the next step. And we're not out here like, having posters and sad moments of her and lighting candles everywhere. We're not doing like, we can celebrate this woman now because she literally now I keep saying civilian, but I don't want to disrespect her because her accolades are off the charts. Like even before going to space, she's a step above the average person. Not saying education makes you better than anybody, but just her accolades as a whole, she's done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But to know that gives me hope. That makes me want to not log in to the full dive. That gives me hope for reality, for here.
Way to bring that around. Around. That was nicely done. Nicely done.
Like you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to wrap it up with a bow because I know I can go on a tangent.
No, but that was really good. And thank you for bringing her up as as the person who inspires you. And I love that we were able to talk about someone who is here today, because I know a lot of people talk about Martin Luther King, who is an absolutely amazing person, Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X. But it's the same, like, couple of like 10 people that we talked about, and there's people today who are out there doing amazing things, like absolutely amazing things, who are contributing to our society in such wonderful ways that they need to be celebrated. And that's kind of why we are doing this series, because we want to celebrate Black excellence along with Level 1 Gaming. So I'm going to bring this to an end, not because I couldn't sit here and talk and listen about it all the time, but because this is a shorter format. And we will have Baron on again. And then Baron, you can just go all day. I'm saying, like, I could talk about I could talk about Black excellence, Black issues all day, because I am Black. And that is my story and my background and my history and my future.
Do you know very quickly, Dee, before you wrap up entirely, do you know what really makes me excited?
What?
When we do this next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we might have more stories about her to tell, because I guarantee you she's gonna accomplish more, and she's gonna do even more incredible stuff that we're gonna get to talk about in the future. So that's I'm so excited to see where we're gonna go.
That, and just more people in general to talk about who are going to be doing amazing things. So I hope that, like, in the future, we might be talking about Baron. We might be talking about Floor Hugger. We might be talking about, like, she's so inspiring. I remember when we had her back on the show. I remember when we had Fame. I remember when Level 1 Gaming teamed up with us. They're doing big things now in the industry. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could be.
Oh, Lord.
No.
They would never.
Let me tell you. My dad, he always told me growing up, he was like, don't say what you'll never do. Just pray you don't have to be given that option. And because everything I've ever said I would never do, it's like been brought in front of me as a test. And I hope, and I don't ever aim to go Hollywood. Like, at bare minimum, respond to those emails. Say no. Like, it's okay. Just be like, no. That's it. And I'll be. That's from PR Baron. That's from communications Baron. That, folks, it's okay to say no. People handle no a lot better than nothing.
Yes.
Please just say no. It's okay. Say no.
That's true. But all I'm trying to hear is yes. So at the end of the day, I want to hear yes. And I want to see more of us represented, and not just Black people. I know this is Black History Month, but it's not just about us. It's about all people of color. And really, it's about everyone. Like, get out there and educate yourselves. There's absolutely no reason to be ignorant to things that are going on today, to sit there and say that racism is not a thing when it is obviously a thing. And
Oh
it is
my
all throughout
gosh.
our system. It's all throughout our world, you know? So thank you guys for coming and listening to us and sticking with us. We're always going to talk about these issues because they're very important. And like, there's no way I'm going to be on a podcast and not talk about my history, my future, my people. So thank you
Facts.
again, Matt, for providing this wonderful platform and being open to listening, because as I said, that's
Yes.
always important to have our white counterparts listen and also talk about these issues, because white people listen to white people, and that's just the truth of it, right? And Baron, thank you for taking time out of your day to come on and talk with us. And I know you're going to be back. We're going to have
Oh
more
yeah.
conversations. And yeah, I think that's it. So, guys, please stay tuned. Oh, wait. What? Oh, yeah. If you don't know where to find Baron, we're going to put all that information down below. But just so you can hear it, Baron, can you tell people where to find you?
You can catch me on
We're doing our,
YouTube.
don't laugh. This is our proper.
Right. This is my get the job voice.
Right?
Yes. So you guys can actually find me over at level1gaming.com. That's where you'll find all my written reviews and news content. You can see me in written form. That made no sense, but you'll understand when you go there. And then you can find me visually and audibly on youtube.com/LV1 Gaming 20, the number 20.
Oh my God. Thank you, Baron. It has been such a pleasure having you on the show tonight. And as again, we just want to say thank you to Matt and to all of our listeners. Please stay tuned for more episodes for Black History Month. This is Destiny signing off, and BOB and Level 1 Gaming saying, catch you next time.